Hi everybody and welcome to the channel. Whether you're a regular viewer or you've just come across us, everybody's welcome here. So thank you and welcome to everybody who's part of the Beatles community, record collecting community, vinyl community, and anybody, like I say, that's just come across this channel. Everybody's welcome here. Right, the first finds of 2025. To be honest, I've had these records for a few weeks now, but today, or earlier today, was the first time I've actually had a chance to play them. So I thought I'd just go through them. I don't think it's going to be a very long video, but I hope it'll be of interest to some of you out there. And remember, it is only a little bit of fun, and if I cock it up doing it, it's just me, isn't it? The first one is Small Faces. Now, some of you might remember that I actually did a episode on the Small Faces either last year or year before, and I did have a reissue of this uh, Ogden Special Nut Gone Flake, but mine wasn't in the round cover. Originals of these are quite expensive to find. I was lucky enough to find all these records that I'm going to show today from my local record shop in Derby. So this is what they call the circular cover, and it is on Immediate Records, although it is a later pressing. It's Immediate Stroke Castle, I think, or Nems, Immediate and Nems. So this is probably from the mid 80s. Um, it is very authentic, to be honest, the original pressing. So that is side one, and then that is side two. So on here you've got Ogden's Nut Gone Flake, Afterglow, Afterglow of Your Love, sorry, Long Ago's and Worlds Apart, Renee, Song of a Baker, and Lazy Sunday. Side two is a bit strange because side one is basically just like an ordinary album. Side two, you've got a chap that's like introduces every album, but he speaks in his own made up language. So side two, you've got Happiness Stan, Rolling Over, The Hungry Intruder, The Journey, Mad John, Happy Days Toy Town, Flat as a Pancake. I think I paid £20 for this off the top of my head, which I didn't think was that bad. At a local record fair last year, I saw the same one and they wanted £75 for it. It's a very, very flimsy construction, though, to be honest. It's really, really flimsy. It does open up like that. Good, isn't it? And then that goes like that, doesn't it? I think that comes out as well. There might have been one on there as well, I don't know. Yes, I played this morning and I was quite happily surprised at the sound quality. Yeah, it sounded really, really nice on my hi-fi downstairs, which is slightly different to one that I've got in the music room. So yeah, for £20, I thought that was £20 well spent. Um, if I ever did see an original one of these and it wasn't a stupid price, I would still want to buy one. But having said that, I think it was either last year or year before we went to a record fair and Sue actually did do a bit of the camera work, and there was an original one there and they wanted well over £200 for it. I mean, if you've got the money and you haven't got the album and you love the Small Faces, you probably would still buy it anyway, wouldn't you? Um, then we've got, you know what Beatle Dave's like when he goes into a record shop. If he sees one of these, the Beatles White Album, I'll buy it. This was around £30, I think. The reason it was so cheap is because it is a reissue. So it's a side opener, and it hasn't got the poster and it hasn't got the pictures. Well, I say it hasn't got the pictures. I think it's got one in it. I remember rightly. I think it's got one picture in it, which is of poor old Ringo. So Ringo's been stuck in this album all on his own since about 1984. So you do get the Beatles just there. You can't really see it. And the I mean, it looks really, really nice on there, but there is a few stains on this and a few marks. Um, and there's a crease just there. I don't know if you can see it, just there on the cover. I don't know if the light's going to pick it up or the camera. But it is still a really, really nice sounding album. Beatle Dave and the White Albums. I think this is about 60 copies of the White Album I've got now. And this is very similar to the one that I got last year because it's got the wording all the way around the label. There's usually a gap there and a gap there. But this is a UK copy. So it's PCS 7067. You don't get the sold in the UK on it because obviously it's a very, very late pressing from 1984. And how do I know it's from 1984? Because in December of 1984, at Christmas time, my mum actually bought me a copy of this brand new from the shops, and it was exactly the same labels as this, with it going all the way around the labels. So that is side one and side two. That is actually in really, really nice condition. And you don't get the EMI in a sleeve with this. In fact, this is from 1985, I think, because it says 985 there, so it could mean September 1985. Sometimes it means that, sometimes it doesn't. Just put that one back and we'll just have a quick look at the other one. Has this got any dates on it? No, this hasn't got any dates on. This is a completely different inner sleeve as well, to be honest, but it's the same label. I mean, somebody did once say to me, "Why have you got so many Beatles White albums?" I never started out collecting White albums to say, so many I could get. It's just every time I go out, well, not every time, but a lot of the times I go out, go to record shops, go to record fairs or car boots and things like that. I managed to find some, and they're usually a really, really good price, or I think is a good price. Anything under £40 for White Album is cheap, isn't it? And I never intended to get as big a collection as I have. But then I started to joke saying, well, maybe one day I could probably have the biggest White Album collection in the UK, which was meant to be as a joke, by the way, folks. It wasn't meant to be serious, but the way things are going, all those over there, sorry, all those over there, all them there, they're all White Albums. White Albums up there, White Albums in there, White Albums on there. You know, so who knows? One day maybe I will do. But it wasn't, and it was meant as a joke sort of thing. And then finally, something that you probably think, Beatle Dave, I didn't know you was into this band, or Beatle Dave, I thought you already had this album. Um, Led Zeppelin 2. Again, fantastic album. Um, some brilliant tracks on this. I must admit, when I played this earlier on today, well, this afternoon, downstairs, I did have this on quite loud and it sounded absolutely amazing. It reminded me of days gone by when I was a lot younger. This is actually a reissue, it's not an original. And although it says France on the back here, it says Atlantic 40037, and then it's SD 8236, and then it says on here France. There's France there. But on the label, it says it's made in Germany. Um, so this is a later pressing. You still get the gatefold sleeve, and that is the all the songs there. You wanted to freeze and then zoom in. I should imagine most of you know the songs on here anyway. You've got a whole lot of love. What is and what should never be. The Lemon Song. Thank you. Side two is Heartbreaker. Living, Loving, Made. Ramble On, Moby Dick, and Bring It On Home. And it was produced by Jimmy Page. 1972 this originally came out. I thought it was earlier than that, actually. And then this is the inner sleeve. It's WEA or WAR, whatever you want to call it. Warner Brothers, Eureka, and Atlantic. So it's all part of the same group, aren't they? What we've got on here, I mean, you've got AC/DC, If You Want Blood. You've got Led Zeppelin, The Song Remains the Same. What's we got on here? Frank Sinatra, Greatest Hits. Elvis Costello, Armed Forces. George Harrison's George Harrison LP from 1979. So this is going to be from the early 80s, then, isn't it? Rod Stewart, Blondes Have More Fun. Go for any interest in me. And the record is virtually mint. But then on here it says 1969, the Atlantic Record Company. I say it must have been late 60s, wasn't it? There, it's 70s, late 60s. Fantastic sounding album. Really, really enjoyed playing this earlier on. Oh, this is nearly drops it. Be a Beatle Day video, would it, if we didn't cock it up somewhere along the line? So that's my first finds of 2025, or the first finds that I've actually had time to play all the way through, not counting stuff that I got for Christmas and things like that. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Just remember, it's only a little bit of fun. Yeah, I think the Led Zeppelin one was only £15. If I remember rightly, that was £15. And yeah, it's £15. And the Beatles one was £30. Just says no poster and only one pick. So, so yeah. Would you have you got any of these in your collection? Would you like any of these in your collection? Led Zeppelin 2, the 80s copy of the Beatles White Album, which I must admit doesn't look quite as nice as it does on there. There is some staining and some creases on it, but the vinyl is virtually mint on that. And then we've got Ogden's Gone Nut Flake. Lovely, lovely. So I'm very, very happy with them. Whatever you're doing, please stay safe. If you've enjoyed this video, please do me a favour and leave me a thumbs up. If you want to leave a comment, please leave me a comment. If you've liked the video and you're not subscribed, just think about subscribing. It is free and it doesn't cost you a penny, and it doesn't cost me a penny, no matter what people are trying to make out. So, but we'll forget about that one. Yeah, so whatever you're doing, like I say, please stay safe, and I hope you're all going to have a lovely week. I'm back at work tomorrow, and that's going to be it. So, just a little video today, just to show you some of the things that I've been listening to today, and that I got a few weeks ago. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'm wishing you all peace, love, and happiness as always. Remember, Beatle Dave loves you, and you are the Beatle Dave. So until the next time, cheer everybody, and thank you to everybody that is continuing to support the channel. See you soon, folks.